Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. The first order of business for the board tonight is a public hearing on the 2024-2025 budget. The tentative budget was presented at the August meeting website. So I just want to ask, do we have And so we can move on to our regular for the September 24 of the Board of Education, School District 25. And thank you. We have a full crowd this evening, and all of you joining us in person and virtually. Before we begin, I want to share that our meetings are when the school board conducts its business and are open to the public. On the agenda if you have questions or comments on the business of the board. And with that, I'll call the regular meeting to order. And Ms. O'Brien, could you please call the
Neerman? Jogi? Here. Scapalato?
Here.
Michael?
Here.
Cerniglia?
Here.
Faso? Here.
And please stand if you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, we start our meeting of this evening, and presentation, and tonight's a special.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, and honored guests. Tonight we gather here in the spirit of celebration and recognition to honor a group of individuals who have demonstrated unwavering commitment, dedication, and excellence in the field of education. It is with great pleasure that we acknowledge and congratulate the newly tenured teachers of Arlington Heights School District 25. Tenure is not just a milestone. It's a testament to the tireless efforts, passion, and the significant impact these educators have had on the lives of our students. It signifies their enduring commitment to the art of teaching and their devotion to the betterment of our educational community. Each of these remarkable educators has shown resilience, adaptability, and an unyielding determination to guide our students on their educational journeys. Through the challenges and triumphs, they have consistently gone above and beyond to inspire and nurture young minds, instilling a love for learning that will last a lifetime. Today, as we grant them tenure, we are not only acknowledging their past achievements, but also expressing our trust and confidence in their continued contributions to our district's educational excellence. With tenure comes not only job security, but also the responsibility to continue being leaders in our educational community, to mentor and guide new educators, and to inspire the next generation of learners. As we look toward the future, we are confident that these newly tenured teachers will continue to be a source of inspiration, innovation, and excellence in our schools. They will represent the best of our profession, and their impact will be felt for generations to come. At this time, I would like to honor each of the newly tenured teachers to be individually recognized for their accomplishments. So we're going to start with Dryden. If you would like to come up. Yolanda Bullathon and Molly Ann Siegel. Is it Kemi here? Yay, sorry, Akemi, I didn't see you here. I'm sorry. Next, Donna, if you'd like to join the board, we will be recognizing Greenbrier teachers. First, we have Jennifer Lynn. And Stephanie Stratton. Next, I'd like to invite up the principals of Olive Mary Stitt. And we are honoring Michelle Angelico. And Alyssa Dorchevsky. And Stephanie Kelly. Emily Lim. Kathleen Morris. And Lindsay Schultz. Next, I would like to invite up Principal Ellie Chin from Patton Elementary School to honor our newly tenured teacher, Elizabeth Gabbianelli. I'd like to welcome Principal Jim Morrison from South Middle School up. And we'll be honoring Erin Lily McMains. And I'd also like to invite up Ann Swiderski. All right, now I would like to invite up Principal Lori Nomowitz from Thomas Middle School. And we'll be honoring Soraya Peshek. All right, next up we have, we are inviting up the principals from Westgate. Yay. Dr. Ann Buck and Kara. And our newly tenured teacher, Brett Hackman. Next, we'll be honoring Wendy Jant. Next, I'd like to introduce Margaret O'Grady. And congratulations to Afton Olson. And Lisa Smorczewski. All right, and the final school we will be honoring tonight is Windsor Elementary School with principals Lindsay Anastasio and Melanie Soprano. I'd like to invite up Courtney Fleeka. And Dana McAndrew. And Kimberly Solano. Congratulations. Lastly, I'd like to take a moment to honor those who earned tenure but were unable to be with us this evening. From Dryden Elementary School, Caroline Sorrentino. Patton Elementary School, Deidre O'Brien. Also from Patton, Ann Ruff. From Ivy Hill, Kathleen McLuttish. From I probably said that wrong. McLosh. From Olive Mary Stitt, Amanda Lace. And from South, we have Danielle Birdie, Lauren Cruz, Lisa Smith, Tyler Stortle. From Thomas, we have Jessica Franco, Caitlin Pucci, Carolyn Taylor, and Patricia Zielinski. Yes, Zielinski. Okay, sorry, Patricia. From Westgate, we have Hannah Blanchard, Megan Evans, Corinne Levin, and Amanda Winter. So in closing, let us once again extend our heartfelt congratulations to these outstanding educators. May your journey in education continue to be filled with passion, purpose, and profound moments of growth and achievement. Thank you for your dedication, and may you continue to light the way for our students to reach their full potential.
On behalf of the board, congratulations again to all our newly tenured teachers. And so at this time is where we do the obligatory, you're welcome to stay, but we can congratulate you also as you depart. So thank you, everyone. All right, moving on, everyone, from the celebrations, we're going to go to our board communications. And so to begin, I want to ask my colleagues, are there any updates from our board members?
Well, I'm sorry. Yes, I have an update.
Yes, Anisha.
Yeah. Thank you, Greg. So much happened between our last board meeting to this board meeting that we actually missed our colleagues and not being here. Please jump in because we were all at these events, but I'll summarize a couple because since our last board meeting, there lots of excitement, right? First of all, school started and our PTAs were so busy across the district with all the wonderful back to school welcome events, so that was great. And as parents, we were at different ones and so forth, so that was really exciting. And it was also really cool that we got to welcome 60 new teachers, and I was honored to address them at the orientation event. It was really fun, an event organized by the admin team and Becky at the helm, so that was great. And the board continued their positive relationship with the ATA, and it was really nice for us to be to meet with them on August 22nd, so that was great. Thank you, ATA. And then, of course, Staff Institute Day was a blast. Again, and a truly energizing event every single year, and this year as well, kicked off by our superintendent, Dr. K. And the Olympic theme was truly a really fun one, and we're glad that Dr. K didn't get hurt. If you know, you know. Coming in, rolling in to the event. And ribbon cuttings, I know a lot of my colleagues were there. Liz, do you want to talk about ribbon cuttings?
Sure, it was very exciting to attend the different ribbon cuttings at the school. The trend was the later it got, the more students showed up. So it was very, very exciting. We had a lot of community leaders who joined us, board members, teachers, administrators. Thank you to everyone who took time out of your night to come and witness it. It was really, really joyful. And the coolest thing I witnessed is a lot of the schools have courtyards with turf now, and somehow at every single school, the kids ran out there and immediately knew to kick off their shoes and run around that turf like crazy. So I don't know what it was, but it was really fun and really joyful, and everything smells like pristine and fresh and new. So thank you all for being there for that.
Yeah, truly. So just a really fun beginning to the school year. So thank you so much, Dr. K, and to the staff and team for all the fun excitement. Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to add that, again, the opening day, you mentioned it, Anisha, but that there's such an electric energy in the room, And it's really a privilege to be there to witness it as the staff get energized, as you led that day, Dr. K. So thank you for letting us be a part of it. It's one of my favorite events of the year, for sure. But the ribbon cutting events, thank you, Liz, for sharing about those. What a great cap off to a long journey to get to that moment where we kick off full day kindergarten and open those. And so thank you, Dr. K, and all the staff that allowed us to bring the community in and be part of that celebration. So very much appreciate that. And to add again to your point, Aisha, about all our PTAs, have done to make the start of the school year a moment to welcome people in, build community, and start it off in a joyful way. So there's so much to be grateful for, but thank you, Dr. K, for all you've done to kick off the year, and again, the supporting cast of so many. It's been really positive.
Yeah.
So, any other comments? Okay. Oh yeah, please, Liz.
I'd also just like to thank all of the
Okay, thanks everyone for those updates, and now we'll move on to EdRed. Kevin and Stacy, any updates you have this evening?
No updates for me other than I'm looking forward to attending their annual kickoff luncheon event on October 18th. So I'll have plenty more to share about that event after it takes place. So I will defer to Stacy in case she has anything to add.
Well, thank you both. And now we'll go to our IASB report and Dr. Gilby.
Thank you. So yesterday, Dr. K, Kevin, and I met for our initial planning meeting to prepare for our district presentation at the Triple I Conference. So we are really going to be super prepared. The presentation is in November, so it's going to be great, and it's going to be for anybody who's attending, for our colleagues and others around, and our admin is always there, on November 23rd at 3 p.m. We're laughing about who actually is going to be there at the end of the day at 3 p.m. So any attendance we would welcome at Hyatt East in the Grand B Ballroom. So we're excited. This is going to be our fourth presentation as a district, and we should just be really proud of it because we actually got invited even before we placed a proposal. We were asked to come and present. So we're honored to share, and the panel is actually the segment that the ISB does is called Share the Success Panel. So we're doing a lot of successful things to share, so we're excited to be there. And Adam Harris is going to be there as well presenting, so we have to get his deets about when he's presenting. On a different note, as far as ISB, I just wanted to let board members know that they've launched an ISB community online forum, and it's kind of cool. You can play around with it. It's on their website. You go to community.iasb.com, and it's designed to provide a platform for ISB member groups sharing common interests, to access a support network, share resources, and generate ideas. So, so there's different groups, and they're not only for board members, but there's a board presidents group that would be really helpful. There's an admin professionals group that would be helpful, and Lana's already on it. There's an attorney group and so forth. So play around and see if you have any questions. I think it's just really valuable to learn, not just from our board colleagues, but to learn from board members across the state of Illinois. So that network is there for us to support us because it just makes us stronger. So that's it for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Anisha, and thank you to you and Kevin and Dr. K for carrying that torch and presenting again for us this year. So thank you for all the work you're putting into it.
Yeah, we'll miss our band leader, Greg. He'll come in with a speaker, I think, for us.
or a tuba, maybe. Okay, Liz, we're going to hear about NSSEO next, right?
Yes, thank you. As you know, NSSEO is embarking on a strategic plan to guide the organization and prioritize the work of the next 5 years. As member districts, our input is being garnered in several ways by the consulting firm Hazard Young and Atea. All member district superintendents are participating in a superintendent focus group. Our assistant superintendents, directors of special education are participating in a focus group, and NSSEO governing board members will each have 1 hour one-to-one interviews with the consulting firm. HYA will be providing NSSEO with an environmental scan in October, which is a culling of all of the information gathered from parent staff surveys, focus groups, data sources, including financial, facilities, and student data. This is essentially a summary of the current state of affairs for the organization. I will be bringing a brief summary of the environmental scan to our November board meeting. Each NSSEO member district is asked to invite 3 staff members / board members to attend the 2-day process of writing the strategic plan. The dates for these 2 days are December 3rd and December 10th from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. As NSSEO is funded by member districts, and some of our District 25 students attend their programs, it is suggested that a board member, a superintendent or designee, and a financial representative are part of the team the district sends, though this is at the discretion of each individual district. My intent tonight was to make you aware of the process and that we need to save the dates so that our district is represented at these important meetings. I've spoken with Dr. K, and his recommendation was to see if I could represent the board, Diane Kafka could represent, and also Stacy Malik. So feel free to let me know if you have any questions. If anyone wants to jump in and represent, I'm happy to do so. And they gave me a script this time, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. All right, well, now is the time in our agenda we set aside for our community input. If a member of the public wishes to address any item on tonight's agenda, please complete one of the blue forms provided at the table just outside the room and hand the card to Lana O'Brien. Please note on your card if you wish to speak now at the first community input opportunity, or if you wish to speak later, should we have a second community input opportunity. So Lana, do we have any this evening? No? Okay. With no blue slips, we will go right on to communications from district partners, and so we will welcome Amanda Bonsali to the mic and welcome to hear about the PTA.
I'm Amanda Bonsali. I'm the current president of Arlington Heights Council of PTA. And at this point in, I can talk about
The world wants to.
Oh, I'm so important. At this point in the school year, all of our schools are well into planning and executing all of their wonderful plans that they put so much time and energy into. Pretty much all of the back-to-school bashes have, been completed, fall fests. All the schools are having their different grade nights that are welcoming, especially the kindergarten grade nights, the family nights in the first grade, to welcome those families to the school communities. Coming up, all of our schools are focusing on their big fundraisers for the year, whether it's a bingo night, a house hop, progressive tailgate, an unfundraiser, but all these fundraisers are going to help raise money for all of the programs that our PTAs provide to our communities, including cultural arts presentations, literacy nights, and other family events. This fall, coming up, all students in District 25 are welcome to participate in the National PTA Reflections Program. The Reflections Program is designed to foster and show our students' love of art in its many forms, while inviting students to explore their creativity, use their imagination, practice critical thinking, and share their talent. The program encourages children to create works of art in any of the 6 different arts categories, including dance, film, literature, music, photography, and visual arts. Each year, the projects are created around a theme, and this year's theme was identified as Accepting Imperfection. Every student in District 25 grades kindergarten through 8 have the opportunity to submit artwork to the Reflections program through their school's PTA. The Arlington Heights Council of PTAs Committee will recognize all students for their participation in the program. There is an opportunity for submissions to advance to the region, the state, and the national levels. And I know we were excited. We had quite a few advanced to the state last year from our district. Projects will be due to each individual school's PTA at the beginning of November, and entry forms can be obtained through each school's individual PTA representative. We look forward to seeing what our students can create this year. Also, on behalf of all of our local units, Arlington Heights Council of PTA thanks the parents and teachers who have joined the PTA this school year. Just by joining, you're funding an organization that puts all children first. And if you haven't joined, please visit RevTrack to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. All right, next we'll move to ABC 25, and Gina, please.
So I will echo the PTA's comment for all of the wonderful parents that have joined ABC 25. Thank you. Our funding is shifted a little bit from what the PTA does work on, and we fund the grants that help all of our teachers try new and innovative ideas within their classroom. ABC 25 spent a lot of time over the summer working on our planning, and now we are in execution mode. I'll have dates for you by next month, but we are finalizing the entire calendar of events, which will also include the fun fair, which will move to winter this time. So we will do indoors again, but we will move to a winter event instead of a spring event. But stay tuned, there will be a spring event. It's just won't be the fun fair. And then where's my friend Allison? Allison, grants are open for the teachers. So we have officially opened for grant submissions from all of staff, admin, and educators. This will be open until October 18th. Then we will have all of our liaisons, which is a representative from every school, and they will be reading all of the grants and then scoring the grants on the rubric, which is also included within the grant submissions, so that everybody is very aware. It's a very transparent process. And then we will be awarding grants the week of November 18th. So that the teachers are aware, and if anyone wants to use their grant money, they can spend it for Black Friday. It was a goal that was asked of us by people who are submitting the grants. So we are working on that. And I think that is all I have right now.
Great. Thank you, Gina. All right. We welcome Allison Berg, ATA President, to the microphone. Welcome, Allison.
Thanks. So not on my piece of paper, I actually heard not one, not two, but several people talking about grants already this year, because we have new space in the buildings. So people are already like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had this, and wouldn't it be cool if we had that? And I heard somebody go, you should write a grant for that. I said, yes, you should. So people are thinking about it, FYI. Okay, good evening. The new school year is up and running, and the elementary buildings are excited for the extra elbow room created by the construction in many of our buildings. And many classroom teachers are absolutely thrilled about their new furniture as well. There is nothing like starting the new year in a brand new classroom with brand new furniture. It's pretty exciting. So it's pretty exciting. I think at Windsor we have we might have the longest hall in the whole district. I'm tempted to say we have a really long hallway that was created by, kids can pick up a lot of speed down that hallway. It's been pretty good so far. Plus we have some friends who are on bikes. So it's a nice, good stretch there. Anyways, so here is some news from around the district. Some things going on in the district in the first few weeks. The Life Skills Unit at South's ILP program is focusing on transportation. These are pictures of the presentations students had to make on a destination of your choice, which is always fun to see some Windsor graduates in those pictures, so kind of cool to see for me. Moving on. The Thomas girls softball team made history. The team has been around Thomas for the last 3 years and making Thomas history by advancing to the regional championship this year. The girls fought hard against Darian Eisenhower, but lost in the bottom of the 7th, 6-5. But we're going to say go T-Wolves anyways. So kudos to them. Here we go. This is one of the new spaces we've been talking about that we could have some ideas for in our buildings. These are Patton students using the new outdoor space. The kids call it the putting green. There they are outside reading and some more reading. I like this picture with the chairs, pretty cool. This is a picture of our Thomas Team 7-7. They are already making connections as the new school year is up and running. Kindergartners at Patton are enjoying the big new gym and playing their very first soccer game in that picture. PE classes at Windsor spent time discussing the mood meter and creating class charters so that they can build each other up in gym class. Mrs. Johnson at Windsor says she's really glad for the mood meter sticker she received a few years ago. She keeps it laminated and on her lanyard just in case she needs it on the go. There it is. Dryden had a back-to-school assembly. There is their music teacher and mascot and all the kids ready for a new school year. At Windsor, the instructional students are working on one-to-one correspondence and representation with eyeballs and monsters. Greenbrier kindergartners are already enjoying their full day of school, days of school and meeting new friends. And again, our Windsor kinders have been having too much fun with their fall apple unit. And there's a few pictures of them doing their many apple activities. This one is my favorite. That one with the paint, that's my favorite. That's why I don't teach kindergarten. Okay, that picture right there, but don't they look like they're having fun? Anyhow, thank you for giving me the time this evening to speak. This is only just the beginning. We've only been in school a couple of weeks, so I look forward to sharing more District 25 updates with you at the next board meeting. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Allison. All right, we'll move into our consent agenda, and this is an action item, so can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin?
I recommend that the Board of Education approve those items on the consent agenda as follows. A, personnel report and addendum to personnel report. B, treasurer's report. C, invoices. D, special meeting and special closed session meeting minutes of August 12th, 2024. E, regular and closed session meeting minutes of August 13th, 2023. F, hold closed session minutes of January 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2024 per Board Policy 2:220E1. G, hold audio tape September 27th, 2022 per Board Policy 2:220E1. H, destruction of audio tapes August 9th, 2022 through September 13th, 2022 and November 7th, 2022 through December 13th, 2022 per Board Policy 2:220-E1.
Thank you, Kevin. In a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Anisha. Lana, if you please call the vote.
Jogi,
Yes.
Scapalato,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Cerniglia,
Yes.
Faso,
Yes.
Neerman.
Yes.
Thank you, Lana. The motion carries 6-0. And so with that, we'll go to the student learning section of the agenda. So we welcome Dr. Fitzpatrick and Ms. Luceau to the board table, and we're looking forward to hearing your presentation on professional learning for all staff and onboarding for new faculty. So welcome.
Thank you. All right, well, good evening, everyone. So thank you for this opportunity to present today. As Mr. Scapalato mentioned, I'm here with our new Director of Student Learning, Mrs. Andrea Luceau, and we're excited to share how our district is focusing on professional learning for all staff and onboarding for new faculty. Tonight's presentation will provide insights into our efforts to support educators in District 25. So our professional learning framework in District 25 is designed to achieve several goals. We aim to equip educators with up-to-date knowledge, enhance the overall quality of education, and foster collaboration among our staff. This continuous development allows our educators to adapt to changes in the educational landscape, improve the classroom environment, and encourage personal and professional growth. These elements are crucial to maintaining an innovative and supportive learning environment for both staff and students, in addition to the ABC 25 grants on that innovation piece. All of our professional learning opportunities are closely aligned with the district's strategic plan. We tailor our offerings based on staff roles, experiences, and content areas to ensure that every educator has the resources they need to grow professionally. This not only supports individual staff members, but also helps the district fulfill its mission of creating a dynamic learning community where both students and teachers can thrive. So onboarding of new teachers is essential to retaining talent and ensuring smooth transition into their roles. Research shows that 91% of new hires who feel connected to their workplace are more likely to stay in their positions long term. Our onboarding process is designed to create this sense of community and support, providing teachers with essential training, resources, and mentorship. This enables new teachers to adapt to their roles more quickly, build strong relationships with colleagues, and ultimately improve student outcomes in the classroom. My name is Becky Fitzpatrick, Assistant Superintendent of Student Learning.
My name is Andrea Lusso, Director of Student Learning.
I think the general theme from teachers was that they felt very supported. Many indicated that when they arrived on Monday morning, they were a bit anxious, and by week's end, they were telling us all sorts of stories about different individuals across the district that supported them, that provided them with great information to start the year, and just a general enthusiasm about welcoming our students next week.
I love all the excitement that our new staff bring to the district. For a lot of them, this is the start of a new career journey in their lives. It's like a new beginning for them, and just seeing how much they grow over the week as well, and how even when they leave at the end of the week, they might be a little bit tired, but that excitement is still there. So for me, that's the favorite part.
So, as you can see on the slide, our new faculty orientation spanned 4 days and included 40 sessions covering topics such as district policies, technology, curriculum, special education, and community building. This year, we welcomed 60 new staff members, faculty members, supported by more than 50 presenters who ensured that our staff were well equipped to start the school year. We're kind of proud of this one. We honestly received overwhelmingly positive feedback from our new faculty members regarding orientation. And that feedback, we're up here presenting, but presenters come from all of our departments across the district office. One teacher commented, "Great, a lot of information, but it was presented in an organized and digestible way," speaking to the careful planning and attention to detail that went into the sessions. Another teacher said, "This week relieved a lot of anxiety and stress. I immediately felt welcomed and appreciated." This highlights how the onboarding experience made our new educators feel supported and confident going into the school year. Additionally, some teachers noted the importance of building familiarity, meaning of their school buildings, with one teacher sharing that they appreciated the time in our home buildings to meet teachers, get comfortable with the building, and plan out my space. This aspect of the onboarding process helped new faculty feel more prepared, both personally and professionally. Overall, our efforts created what one teacher said was a supportive and positive atmosphere, contributing to a strong sense of belonging and readiness to begin their journey in District 25.
So our onboarding includes various modules aimed at preparing faculty throughout the first half of the school year. Key topics include social-emotional learning, the Danielson Framework for Teaching, and deep dives into special education, multilingual learners, and MTSS. These sessions ensure that every educator, regardless of their role, has the knowledge and resources to meet the diverse needs of our students. A critical part of our onboarding process is personalized mentoring. 61 of our teachers serve as mentors who provide guidance, emotional support, and resources to our new teachers. These mentors help foster professional growth by offering feedback and promoting reflective practices. This ensures that our new teachers not only survive, but thrive in their new roles.
So our professional learning doesn't stop with the onboarding process. On August 26th and 27th, we hosted opening day professional development sessions Thank you, Adam. We differentiated the content to ensure that every educator, from general education to specialized roles, received relevant and impactful learning opportunities. On day one, the focus was on building culture in school buildings and then across the district. Principals planned various activities, and in a minute, you'll see a clip from our all-staff gathering in the afternoon at Thomas, planned by Dr. K. To kick off our elementary literacy professional learning year, we launched a district-wide book study based on the book Teaching Reading Across the Day, Methods and Structures for Engaging Explicit Instruction by Jennifer Saravallo. This book study will help elevate instructional practices in preparation for the full implementation of our new literacy resource next school year, which the board approved in the spring. By engaging in this year-long study, teachers will be better equipped to seamlessly integrate the new resource and enhance literacy instruction across the district.
We've always been there as a friend to lean on when you need help. Leroy, do you mind singing a song for us? Leroy, we would love it. Leroy Dansby.
Sometime in our life, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we were wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of you need. If you won't let show, you just pump on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leroy Dansby, singing along. Thank you. Have once a year. Lean on each other. Have a great year, everyone. Take care. Thank you.
So hopefully, for those that weren't there, that gave you a nice little glimpse into our opening day. And I'll just say, I personally had numerous staff members approach me about that afternoon at Thomas, indicating quotes, and people said the exact same thing, which was, this is just what we needed. So thanks for your careful planning of that afternoon, Dr. K. Enjoyed by all. Oops, I think I skipped a slide. No problem. Overall, our professional development and onboarding efforts reflect our commitment to supporting our educators so they can, in turn, support our students. This year, we already have over 450 hours of professional learning planned, and that number will likely grow as we review student performance and respond with additional learning for our staff. By investing in our teachers, we are directly investing in the success and well-being of our students and our broader educational community. So thank you for your time and attention, and we are proud of the work being done to support our educators and are happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fitzpatrick and Ms. Lusso. Any questions from the board?
I have a comment, Mr. President.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much for the presentation and kind of taking us back. I also, the most special point was that Leroy singing. And then I noticed you two have matching shoes, so we'll talk about that later. But even being here in the room with the 60 new teachers, it was really powerful because they did this one comment that you included in your presentation, this week relieved a lot of anxiety and stress, like I immediately felt at home with the new District 25 colleagues. It was very you could feel like the stress in the beginning, and by the time everybody started talking, when Dr. K, started talking and made everybody feel welcome, it was just really powerful to witness that transformation. And truly a team that learns together, leads together, and you're showing and demonstrating the lifelong learning. So all that time you put into preparing that day, that afternoon, it's really special because it directly correlates to student achievement. And so we are so grateful for everything that you did and just infusing our new teachers with that sense of belonging right from the get-go. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? Okay. Well, thank you again for that view of the beginning of the year. And so we'll go on now to the approved e-learning plan review, which will continue with Ms. Lusso. I guess we'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. So I'm here tonight to review the approved District 25 e-learning plan. Initially approved in 2020, this plan was renewed by the board on May 9th, 2023 for an additional 3 years through the 2025-2026 school year. The approved District 25 e-learning plan contains all the necessary elements for verification by the North Cook Intermediate Service Center and Regional Office of Education. It allows the district to use e-learning days in place of emergency days, providing flexibility in the event of school closures. The plan ensures all students can access technology or alternative materials, offers learning opportunities for special needs students, and monitors student participation. It also allows students flexibility in engaging with their lessons and ensures families are notified beforehand. And then really at this time, are there any questions?
Sure, we can open it up to the board, and I'll just remind the board that we have this on the agenda today because it was a future topics. It came up after last year when the e-learning plan went into use, and then questions came here to the board table. And so this is just the starting point, is to learn about the plan that was previously approved. But now, if there are questions from, I have questions and thoughts, but let's go to my colleagues first. Anyone? No? Okay, well maybe I'll start. Dr. K, what I wanted to think about or discuss here, I remember the feedback that the board received or that I heard in the community. When we're talking about an e-learning plan, there's definitely an overhead for parents, right? I mean, I think an e-learning plan, well, you can correct me, but I mean, we're talking about ISBE sharing how this could work, right? And it probably applies to high schools and middle schools, of course, in our district, and even primary grades. But for a lot of our families, especially the younger the student, there's an overhead for them, right? They are participating in that e-learning most likely as well. However the plan is designed. And to contrast that with, if it was just a weather day, right? A cold day, a snow day, that overhead is not the same because there could be different kind of childcare options. Maybe my kid can go to a friend's house, right? Where that wouldn't be reasonable maybe in an e-learning day situation. So I think that's, I don't know if that's a conversation with you, Dr. K, or around the board table, but is how and when, I don't have questions about the e-learning plan, but when do we use that plan? And it is certainly in your purview, right? I mean, it's an operational thing, but what is our interest as a board if we're giving the superintendent guidance?
Thank you, Mr. Scapolato. So just a little context that we recognize the overhead challenges that parents have. Also, we have working parents, we have parents that are teachers, and if we're asking them to also be teachers at home while they're trying to parent their children and support them in their own e-learning, there's lots of complications and challenges. So I feel like when this was put together by the committee, there was a lot of intention and recognition of all of the potential challenges, but there still needed to be some type of plan with the basic parameters that meet the state guidelines. So this plan only lasts through this school year and one more school year. So it was a 3-year plan. So if the board has an interest in, specific changes, we are happy to go back to the committee to work through those changes. But I don't think we created this in the hopes to use all 5 emergency days as e-learning days. We wanted the option and the potential to use it if necessary. But we recognize all of the challenges that parents have and our teachers are going to have in accessing the technology from home, reliving some of those experiences we had in COVID, getting past that, and then trying to connect and engage kids when they're at home as well. So it's not like we immediately seek, let's use the e-learning days. It really is a calendar function so that we don't have to add more days at the end of the school year. I don't think anyone would tell you that the e-learning plan is equivalent, equal, or just on par with a school day in person. We didn't create a plan that would make every e-learning day perfectly equal and equivalent to a day of in-person learning. So what would cause me to go e-learning as opposed to just a traditional snow day would be in a year like this year, where we already started late and we don't want to push further into the summer. So I think this is the best year to consider using it so that our calendar doesn't go further. All 5 of our emergency days are currently built in at the end of the school year. There have been times in the past where we built some into the school year, like a SIP day or an institute day, and then it replaces that day of learning with in-class instruction. All of them this year are built at the very end. We didn't have a lot of options in the school year because we were trying to compact this one knowing we were starting late. So in order to even have the option, the board has to approve the plan. You've done that. Now we know it's an option we can use. The next step is, have we prepared all the students and teachers to enact the e-learning plan at night? So if by noon on a Thursday, if we announce, hey, prepare your classes for the possibility that we may not have school tomorrow in person, send all the technology home or the packets of prepared learning home. If we haven't done that, then it doesn't happen by noon and we don't announce to everyone, hey, prepare yourselves. Let's say we didn't make that announcement. I kind of don't have the option to do e-learning on the next day, which would be in this scenario a Friday. So we first have to prepare and make sure everyone is notified that it might happen. So now send all the stuff home and be ready. Then I at least have the option to still call an e-learning or a snow day. Next is going to be whatever the weather event is. If there is a tornado or 20 inches of snow, the odds are good the power lines aren't going to be very good. So we have 2 staff members who are kind of notified directly when power is an issue. So if we learn in the morning that power is an issue, I can't really enact e-learning because it relies heavily on good quality access to technology and working Wi-Fi. I think you may remember on one of the days we tried, and it was clear too many people in our area didn't have access in the morning. So we abandoned that and went to a traditional snow day. I don't know if you remember those feelings, but that was a chaotic morning trying to figure out, should we bail on it, should we not? So yeah, it gets pretty tense pretty quickly in the morning, but if we've prepared, everyone takes stuff home the day before, we have the option in the morning to call it either an e-learning or a snow day. And as we lived, we know we can abort mission and just go with a traditional snow day if we're learning from our staff or our students and our parents that we don't have the ability for our kids to access, so this can't even be a good e-learning day. So I think of all the years to consider using it would be this year, so we're not adding days, but I know it comes with a heavy weight if we do initiate it, because there are a lot of challenges. If a teacher is totally unable to access, how do we get that class assigned to another teacher? So we have plans in place to do that. We're not doing it until that happens. So it's not like we're really looking forward to using e-learning. It is only to limit how many days we go beyond the current last day. I don't know if I addressed all of your questions in that.
No, thank you. And yes, absolutely. Just having clarity and a moment to talk and hear what you shared, I appreciate that. So, any other questions? You thinking about it?
No, I just have some thoughts. I should be quiet today. But Dr. K, I appreciate what you say. It takes preparation and follow through, right? And that we have to make the day count, right? Because it is a challenge when you're not doing something consistently. It doesn't happen. Some years we don't have to use it at all. When we used it last year, it was quite some time before we needed to use it.
Yeah.
So then the students aren't used to it, and of course for the teachers, they, like Greg was saying, they have families as well, so there is a lot of complications. I'm glad that there's an awareness about that. I wanted to ask a question as far as, say, what is the complication? And I know there are complications, but what is the complication, say, we have to tack on a day at the end? Does that really blow things out of, is it too complicated to do? Because we know that our summers are really long. From a parent perspective, we'll be like, oh, great. I don't think it would, in my household, it wouldn't be an issue, right?
Yeah, I don't think it impacts us directly because it's built into our calendars. So all of our staff are available. They know they have to be in schools. So it won't impact us much. It's the impact outside of our school district, like the park district programming, the high school events and activities, the summer camps that start. We're already 2 weeks deeper than normal. So it's not us, we're ready. We can add all 5 days on. We lose records day for our staff, but we're ready, we're available. So it doesn't impact us. It really is the impact on the parents and the students with all the other plans that people have. I would imagine people see the current last day as the last day, so they're making plans for afterwards, but we're ready. We can add on all 5 days. It's in our books, we're ready for it. So it doesn't impact us in a significant negative way other than just adding one more day. The benefit is you get a snow day.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's us that's impacted. I think it's parents and students, and then any activities in the community that are starting that they want to be a part of. There's now a dilemma, which is not uncommon. We've had this before where high school gets out earlier and earlier, so we've tried to match them because they start activities and camps sooner, so kids and families want their kids to benefit and get access to those, but it's hard if they're still in school.
I appreciate the thoughtfulness around the preparation and the follow-throughs. Thank you, Dr. K.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. K, and thank you to our Department of Student Learning for joining us this evening and giving us clarity on the e-learning plan.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to the business and finance section of the agenda, and we have an action item for the 2024 through 2025 budget. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education adopt the 2024-2025 budget as presented.
Thank you, Kevin, and a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Anisha. And so, Stacy, do you have any new information for the board to consider before we vote on the budget?
No, you just notice in the packet there is a sheet that identifies the changes between the tentative, which is a plan, but updated for all of the final things that we have the opportunity to review before we present it here tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Stacy. Any questions from the board? All right, seeing none, Lana, if you could please call the vote.
Scapalato,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Cerniglia,
Yes.
Faso,
Yes.
Neerman,
Yes.
Jogi.
Yes.
Thank you, Lana. The motion carries 6-0. And then we'll continue on. We have 2 items on the agenda that are informational and come to the board annually. So, Stacy, if you would, with the first one, share the information on the administrator compensation report.
As you said, both of this item and the following item are 2 different laws that were passed a couple years apart that just require presentation of this information in these formats to the board and then post on the website by October 1st each year.
Okay. And nothing additional to add for the next item either, right? Okay. All right. Any questions for Stacy? Okay. All right, thank you, Stacy. So we'll go to Personnel and Planning, and we'll welcome Ms. Perry back to the board table. And each year, the board, we receive an update on enrollment based on the 6th day of school. So, Ms. Perry, if you could take us through this year's 6th-day enrollment report.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to present my first 6-day enrollment plan. I had lots of guidance from Dr. K, so I feel like it's going to be a good success here. All right. So I wanted to just kind of share the purpose and why we do 6-day enrollment. This is kind of a leveling field for us every year to look at these numbers and consider how we've grown over time. It helps us to evaluate the direction of the school district. The information collected helps us begin our process of planning for the 2025-2026 school year. This year, the 6th day of enrollment fell on September 6th. So one of our priorities in the district, as you all well know, is to maintain low class sizes to support our staff and students, particularly at our pre-K through 5th grade school setting. Low class sizes allows us to further differentiate instruction, devote more time to individualized instruction for our students, and provide a stronger learning environment for the classroom community. Arlington Heights School District 25 is currently able to maintain low class sizes, and many of our constituents recognize this as a strength of our school district. As an example, our average kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade class size is currently at or under an average of 20 students per class. We also understand that one of the main responsibilities is to be fiscally responsible to our constituents. Therefore, I would like to thank you, our board, for allowing us to maintain these low class sizes and for the positive impact that it makes on our students and staff. The items that I'll be covering tonight are listed on this slide, just so you can get a preview into that. And we'll jump in with district enrollment data. So the graph on page 4 is a snapshot of our overall early childhood through 8th grade enrollment. As you can see, the total number of students that are served by Arlington Heights School District 25 is 5,366. This is an increase of 96 students from the previous year's 6-day enrollment of 5,270, or an increase of 2% from last year. Looking back at our historical records from the 2014-15 through the 2018-19, our student population increased by 6% and has steadily decreased from 2018 through 2019. It has decreased a total of 8%. With the addition of full-day kindergarten, we are seeing an increase, an exciting increase in our enrollment numbers for the first time in 5 years. Our kindergarten enrollment has increased from 386 students last year to 491 students this year. It's an overall increase of 105 students. Our current enrollment from 1st grade through 5th grade is down 10 students from 2,891 last year to 2,881 students this year. Dr. K has already contacted the demographer, Dr. Casarda, to complete an updated enrollment growth projection for us. That will help us determine how the impact of full day K will move forward. All right, next we will look at 6-day total enrollment by school. So on slide 6, it shows our 6-day enrollment by school. There are a couple areas to point out. This year, our largest increase throughout the district was at Olive Mary Stitt, which increased 40 students for a total population of 625 students. The two other schools which showed a high increase in total enrollment were Ivy with 31 students and Windsor with 27 students. You'll also notice that 2 of our buildings saw an enrollment decrease. South's enrollment was most significant. They were down by 19 students, and Patton decreased by 12. It's notable that with the decrease at South and increase at Thomas, there is now a 210 difference in our student enrollment at our 2 middle schools. We'll continue to watch those trends and compare them to projected enrollment for staffing and infrastructure needs in the future. All right, this next chart will include 6-day total enrollment with early childhood. These early childhood numbers are updated and monitored on a monthly basis. So this chart currently shows that we are servicing 135 early childhood students. We know that this number will increase steadily throughout the school year as students age into our EC program throughout the school year when they turn 3 years old. So as a point of reference, last year we added 34 students throughout the school year. We anticipate that our early childhood enrollment will likely follow that same trend. Slide 9 takes you on a walk through D25 history with the enrollment data from each school year since the 1957-58 school year. You may notice the peak of our enrollment was reached in 1969-1970 school year with 10,036 students. That did lead me down a rabbit hole where I was researching all Arlington Heights history, trying to figure out why the decline. I did not figure that out yet. Okay, the next section is our enrollment history for our K through 8 students, and these numbers include our out-of-district placements. So slide 11 shows longitudinal kindergarten through 8th grade enrollment trends since 2003. Prior to the pandemic, it was forecast that our enrollment may be leveling off, and during the pandemic, we saw our enrollment decrease significantly between 2019 and 2023. But with the addition of full day K, we are seeing an increase in our enrollment numbers in 2024. Again, we will work with Dr. Casarda to look at future projections to help us ascertain our future enrollment needs. All right, the last chart. These are our Casarda demographic projections that you have reviewed in the past prior to my coming to the district, but we kind of just wanted to show where we fall now that those projections are a reality for full day K. So, slide 13 highlights the 2022 Casarda projections. The solid black line shows our actual K-8 student enrollment with the addition of full day kindergarten. The projected enrollment with full day K is noted with a dashed blue line indicating the less than expected enrollment. The dashed green line was indicating the greater than expected enrollment prediction, and the dashed red line indicated the expected enrollment. The expected enrollment with full day K, according to the Casarda projection, was 5,111 students. Our actual enrollment with full day K is 5,186 students. This is 75 more students than projected. As of Friday, September 20th, only 10 students were enrolled in half-day kindergarten. All right, so in addition to the slides that we just looked at, I've included 2 additional documents with a breakdown of class sizes at each of the elementary schools and the number of students served at each grade level to determine class size per grade level. If you have any questions about those, I'm happy to answer. But overall, we continue to recognize that predicting our enrollment models is challenging. We will continue to analyze our enrollment data frequently in order to make our enrollment projections with greater accuracy. I want to acknowledge the great work and support of the entire administrative team, who have all done an outstanding job to help us set our parameters in looking at staffing costs that enable us to support our student and staff needs. And to keep the legacy going, I want to remind us of the wise words of former Assistant Superintendent Dr. Jake Chung, that Arlington Heights is and remains a destination district for families that care about education and desire schools with exemplary teachers and teaching staff. The reputation of our district remains strong. A great deal of gratitude in large part to you, our board, and your continued support to maintain low class sizes with our elementary and middle school students. We definitely appreciate your support in allowing this to happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. So let's go to the board. Any questions from the board on the six-day enrollment?
Good job on your first one.
I have a couple questions around class size, and I know the board has heard this before, but can you remind us, either Dr. K or Ms. Perry, what are our goals with class size? And they do vary by age level, if I remember correctly.
You are correct. Yeah, and the term I use with staff is targets.
Right. Okay.
So the class size targets for kindergarten is 20. That would be like when they hit 20 on average, we start to look at when would we add another section.
Mm-hmm.
For first grade, second grade, give me a sec. Yeah, first and second, it's 22. I was wondering where third grade fit into it. And that they do as well. So first, second, and third are 22 as a target, and then fourth and fifth is when we increase that to 25. So to repeat, kindergarten target is 20, first, second, third as a chunk, that target is 22, and fourth and fifth grade is 25, and that continues in the middle school, where our attempt is to keep classrooms at 25.
Thank you. Thank you for clearing. And then how do talk about the middle school for a second then, because it's not obviously a teacher and a set of kids. How do we look at class sizes there?
Yeah, when we are doing staffing projections, if you look at a total number of 300 kids in sixth grade, divide that in half because we have two teams, the current structure. So now you have 150 on one team, 150 on the other. Now divide that by 25. That's how we start to look at sectioning for the middle school.
Okay. You talked about it a little bit, but if you can, so I was looking at like what doc is this? The six-day enrollment, and wondering what triggers, you talked about our goals or targets, but if I'm looking at Greenbrier, for instance, and in, let me check Chuck's notes here. Like first versus fifth, and maybe I think you might have answered my question, but fifth we're at 49, right? And first is 29. There's only two sections, 15, but I guess the target's 24. So I think maybe you answered it, but
yeah. So sorry.
No, I think that's it. But is there any more to illuminate there beyond the targets you shared about when the class split would happen?
Not necessarily. So looking at Greenbrier, and you had mentioned fifth grade. So there's an enrollment of 49. There's currently two sections. So the average class size right now is 24.5. So the target would be 25.
Yep.
Once it hits 25, principals know to call, email, DoorDash, food, whatever they can do to get my attention, or now Kendra's attention to like, are you aware we've now hit the targets? Like, are we ready? And I'm like, we're not ready to add a section, but it is on our radar at this point. So really it's time dependent. So if that's happening in May, we're getting pretty concerned because the summer and then late summer, we anticipate we're going to get more to enroll. We just don't know what grades specifically if we're using Greenbrier. So the principals are pretty active with this document at all times, I'd say starting in January, all the way through the summer. So the only challenge is when our elementary principals have their break, they're not as actively watching this. They're on break. So when they return, things get pretty hectic because The admin assistants also aren't there, so enrollment is kind of, you know, on wait until the principal and admin assistants get back, and then they update this furiously and then immediately notify us in late July. So if it calls for another section, we add a section. It's not desirable to do that because now you're very late in the game trying to hire and fill a position, but we've done it on numerous occasions because you can't predict the late enrollment, but we also don't want to be 7 teachers deep where they don't have an assignment. So it's a challenge every year to try and balance this properly. And that's currently what we use is those targets, and then principals know, call us immediately when you're getting close to it. And they have listened to that direction.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. K. Thank you, Ms. Perry. And we'll move on from the 6-day enrollment. So our next section on the agenda is the superintendent report, and the first item is the Freedom of Information Act report. So Dr. K, if you could take us through those items.
Yeah, thank you. So the first item is the Freedom of Information Act. We had 10 FOIA requests, and all 10 have been responded to accordingly. The next item is the second reading of policies. This is an action item. If you were to open up the document titled Overview Press 115 Second Reading, it's what is like the summary visually for everyone to look at, and all changes on that document we try to highlight in red. We bolded one because there's a change from the first reading to the second reading. So in the first reading, we had an increase in, give me one second, in policy 4:80, accounting and audits. And we asked the attorney, what is the amount they would recommend? So they recommended going up to 5,000 in that threshold for that policy. So I bolded that one in red on the overview page so you can see the recommendation from first reading to second. That's the only change between first reading and second reading. So the update from the first reading is a recommendation to increase the capitalization threshold to $5,000 in policy 4:80, which our attorney had suggested, and auditor had suggested, and all other language from first reading to second has remained the same.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. K. So that's an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the policies, policies and exhibits as presented.
Thank you, Kevin. And a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Anisha. And so any questions on the second reading before we go to a vote? Okay, seeing none. Lana, if you could please call the vote.
Michael?
Yes?
Cerniglia?
Yes.
Faso?
Yes.
Neerman?
Yes.
Jogi?
Yes.
Scapalato?
Yes. And thank you, Lana. The motion carries 6-0. And that means we're going on to the board agreements adoption, and this is an action item. So can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education adopt the Board of Education District 25 agreements as presented.
Thank you, Kevin. And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Anisha. And before I turn it over to you, I just want to thank Anisha, Liz, and you, Dr. K, for devoting the extra time and energy to refine the board's intent into a streamlined document that expresses both our protocols and our practices with great clarity. So thank you for your work on this. So turn it to you, Dr. K, or any of the other members of the editing team, if you want to share additional information.
If I could start, then I imagine there will be some interest in sharing some additional information. I want to start by thanking the Board of Education for engaging in a professional development workshop with the Illinois Association of School Boards led by Dr. Perry Hill. I think it was an excellent exercise for all of us to be a part of. This professional development, it was a great opportunity for the team of 8 to discuss our communication expectations and the board protocols. The result of the professional development is attempting to be captured in one document that is currently titled Board Agreements that includes both board protocols and the communication expectations between the board and the superintendent. So following the development on August 12th with the board, an ad hoc committee, including myself, Dr. Jogi, and Liz Neerman, met to reduce the repetitive language in our previous board protocols to streamline the communication expectations. So at this time, I'd like to invite Dr. Jogi and Liz to share a couple thoughts on the process.
Thank you, Dr. K. And it definitely was a great exercise for us to engage with, and thanks, Dr. K, for working with Liz and I very thoroughly. We not only had Dr. K meet with us once, we came back to the table again because we just really wanted to make sure that all I's were dotted and T's crossed. So as a subgroup delegated by the Board of Education, Liz, Dr. K, and myself met twice and went through a thorough review process of our board protocols. Our board values the Board of Education agreements, as this document clearly outlines our ways of working as a collaborative, high-performing team. So it's a super important place to kind of focus our energy on and think about. So as we reviewed the ideas from our board colleagues, we kind of took everything you said, wanted to make sure that, you know, it was a checklist of, okay, this was mentioned, this was mentioned. So we addressed everything that our board colleagues talked about, and the suggestions made by the IASB consultant, Dr. Perry Hill, as Dr. K mentioned. And we also looked at exemplars from IASB and other high-functioning boards in surrounding areas. So we looked at all these great examples. So it was a nice, intensive study of everything that we had in front of us. And our charge from our colleagues was to ensure clarity in a concise way, and we're happy to share that we believe we've achieved this goal, and we hope you think so too. We added board and superintendent communication. This is something that our board learned from some professional development that we go to as board members too. So we had attended an EdRed training and were introduced to this board and superintendent communication doc that we felt was really important, because effective communication is key and builds trust and organizational effectiveness. So that's number one. And our board protocols is conveyed in one page, we'll be happy to know. And we added hyperlinks in addition to the communication piece, that there's this board protocols. And then we saw that there was a lot of repetition in the board protocols that was mentioned in other documents as well. So we just hyperlinked those. And so we don't want to forget about those. We want to reference them always, so they're hyperlinked there. As we add, you know, hyperlinked board member oath and code of conduct, which we have all memorized, right, by heart, because it's a nice lengthy document. And it really does entail everything that is our responsibility as board members that we take very seriously. We also added board policy development, just the 2240, which is a policy that we already have. So we'll refer to that doc when we're thinking about what is our role, what is our ways of working in agreement, in addition to developing local policy. And what our board also has cultivated is this piece called 2240. It's an Exhibit 3, which is District 25 policy development procedures, because all those apply in helping us function. You know, all these additional policy attachments cover all pertaining information that will continue to support us to be an effective governing Board of Education. So it was, I think Liz and I had too much fun working on this. So I think finally Dr. K was like, I'm glad these meetings are over, but we're very happy with the product. Liz, if you have anything else to add?
You so eloquently described the process. I think our goal was to create a document that we could actually use and reference quickly and easily, and that made sense. So please, if you have any questions or concerns, or our brains aren't aligning with yours, please let us know. It was a lot of merging of documents and ideas.
Well, thank you again for all your work. So any questions from the rest of our board on what they've done? Okay. So it looks like your goal is achieved. So thank you. Thank you very much for all of that work.
And
right.
We want to thank Adam for the branding as well. He did
yes.
really nice job. So ours didn't look that pretty when we were done. So Adam, it looks even better. Thank you.
All right. So this is an action item. So seeing no other questions, Lana, if you could please call the vote.
Cerniglia?
Yes.
Faso?
Yes.
Neerman?
Yes.
Jogi?
Yes.
Scapalato?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Thank you, Lana. The motion carries 6-0. So we go to another informational item. This is a data sharing agreement with Township High School District 214. So Dr. K.
Thank you. This is my last item for tonight, just information. The document that is attached to the agenda is titled Data Sharing Agreement between District 25 and District 214. I think right now it says Sender District, so it's the sample that District 214 and the Sender elementary districts have worked on. So this is still the draft. It's intended to formalize the data sharing partnership between our districts. So they ask for a lot of information to help for their process for placement purposes. So we've always had this agreement to share information with, you know, math and reading and science and world language. So we've naturally been sharing a lot of information in order for our kids to be placed properly. So what we don't have is a formal agreement on how that data is shared, what specific data is shared, and how it will be used. So they have an interest in formalizing an agreement with all the sender school districts in order to support the clarity and the use of that data. So we're hoping that by formalizing this with all of the feeder school districts, that we may see a benefit in what data we can access about our kids that have now been placed in X program. How did they do in sophomore year, junior year, senior year? So it allows us the permission to ask for, we place them in this level, how have they performed in District 25? So it's not a huge ask or reach, it just formalizes it into an agreement with us and District 214. So it's for you to look at. If you have any questions, I'll bring it back in the next meeting on October 8th for us to vote on.
Thank you, Dr. K. Any questions about this agreement? Okay, thank you again. We've arrived at our second community input section of the agenda. Lana, any blue slips at this time? No? Okay, so we will now go to the future agenda items. And this is where we check in, and I ask that, are there any new topics that have been brought to Dr. K and are now for us to consider for future meetings? Okay, and not seeing any now, and knowing we do have one item on there, and Dr. K and I have talked, it is coming. It is coming this fall.
Sometime. Yeah, the topic that is currently on there that has tracked for multiple board meetings is the third-party independent audit of board policies and administrative procedures. So I would like to come to the next board meeting and just present what our current audit entails, which I think could help inform if we feel like a separate audit is needed. My goal would also be to try and cost out if we did independently ask, let's just say a law firm, to conduct an audit, what that would cost per hour, how long would they expect it to take for maybe all the policies or just one section of the policies. So my expectation would be to come to you and describe the current process that our audit goes through for compliance, and if we wanted to investigate a third party, what the cost might be associated with that. Is there any other information you would hope to learn in that presentation? Hearing none, I'll move forward with that.
I would just kind of anecdotally say, without creating a rubric or anything,
Yeah.
you educating overachiever, you, kind of compare and contrast, you know, what is the Press Plus, you know, currently do for us, and why would we need an audit? And similarly, you know, IASB and these other relationships, right? We don't just think up our policies ourselves, thank goodness. You know what I mean? Like I would think I'd want to kind of temper, you know, yeah, sure, we could do an audit, and an audit might tell us X, Y, or Z, but
Sure.
you know, what do we get with Press Plus? What do we get from IASB and all these other things? You know.
Yeah, if I
compare and
remember.
contrast why we may or may not even really need the audit, or
Sure.
maybe it'll do the opposite. I don't know.
Yeah. The comment I was going to make there was Press Plus gives us the legal updates, so our board policies are always active and updated. I believe part of the request was, yes, we have the board policies, and some of them require us to do something with it, which is usually like the administrative procedures side on how do we ensure we're actually doing it. And that's what the regional office comes in and checks us for compliance every, I think it's 4 years. And that's the document I just want to share with you. Here's what the regional office does to ensure we are doing what the board policies say we're doing. So Press Plus is great. I don't know if I'll spend a lot of time on how Press Plus impacts, because they're just making sure that all of our policies are accurate based on law changes. Yes. Next is, how are you ensuring that we're actually following it? So that's the step I feel like this topic was trying to address. So what I wanted to just share is the regional office has that responsibility of ensuring we're following through on all the policies. So what are they asking for, and what is the evidence we're sharing with them? So it may drive more requests, or there may be specific policies you're like, that evidence seems, like it's lacking. But we've been successful in all of our compliance audits. So that's what I want to just share with you. Here's the data we've given to defend we're actually following these policies.
I think, if I may jump in, you talked about you might share the cost, like if we were to engage a firm, but there's certainly a different kind of cost, an overhead. Like when we do the ISBE audit, so what work is involved and how intensive is that on the staff? And then maybe speculation on if we were to do an independent, what would that mean to our staff?
I'd be curious if we would learn a lot if I just went to Lana right now and asked what level of work is involved in ensuring we are ready for the compliance. So, yeah, truth be told, Lana has a large part of helping each department prepare for and organize all of the data that we upload as evidence. So, yeah, it is a substantial overhead for our current staff. So I have some ideas that I might share if we were to consider getting an independent audit. I don't know if I would do the full boat all at once, so I would go slow and steady and meticulous. So I appreciate you asking about that piece as well. What's the current overhead for our current compliance audits?
Mr. President, if I could just add.
Please.
Dr. K, yeah, I think, it'd be really great. What's been really helpful, for me, I'll speak for myself, is that behind the curtains look that we just don't know, right?
Yeah.
So just giving us that look of what happens. I think I'm guessing by the time you actually tell us what's happened, we'll say, oh, well, nothing's needed, because we don't know what that process is behind the scenes.
Certainly.
So just kind of, as a board, we're policymakers, and we want to be sure that the policy, of course, it's evident it's being met because we're such a great district. So it'll be just a good awareness education for us, I
This is
believe.
great. I appreciate the feedback.
Mr. President, Dr.
Yes.
Kay, another piece of information that might benefit us as board members in making a decision about whether to move forward with this idea is if we can find out if any of our neighboring districts have ever undertaken additional audits outside of what IASB mandates. And if so, what was their experience? What benefits did they see of it? Would they recommend it, et cetera?
Great.
Mr. President,
Yes, Gina.
Dr. Kay, I'd also like to outline the risks associated with performing this audit and what it would mean from a community legal governance perspective if we were to find anything that were significantly deficient.
Sure. Good. Thank you.
Thank you for all the thoughts and comments. Hopefully that's helpful to you,
It
Dr.
is
Kay.
very, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So the board needs to return to closed session to continue working on the same topics announced earlier for closed session. The board cannot take any action during closed session, and we will not be taking action when we return to open session afterwards. So with that, can I have a motion, please, to adjourn to return to closed session?
Mr. President?
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education adjourns the public meeting and returns to closed session for the aforementioned topics.
Thank you, Kevin. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Anisha. And Lana, if you could please call the roll.
Faso,
Yes.
Neerman,
Yes.
Jogi,
Yes.
Scapalato,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Cerniglia.
Yes.
Thank you, Lana. The motion carries 6-0, and thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening.